Good morning, friends. I'm so glad you're joining me again today to hear God's Word. Today, before we start our story, I thought we'd sing a song together. This week, I want to sing My Best Friend. Do you remember how it goes? My best friend, Jesus is my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, and I am not alone. No, I am not alone. My best friend, Jesus is my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, and I am not alone. My rock, Jesus is my rock. Jesus is my rock, and I am not alone. No, I am not alone. My rock, Jesus is my rock. Jesus is my rock, and I am not alone. My nightlight, Jesus is my nightlight. Jesus is my nightlight, and I am not alone. No, I am not alone. My nightlight, Jesus is my nightlight. Jesus is my nightlight, and I am not alone. My best friend, Jesus is my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, and I am not alone. No, I am not alone. My best friend, Jesus is my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, and I am not alone. Thanks for singing with me this morning. Now as we're getting ready to hear God's Word, let's get our bodies ready and our hearts ready and our minds ready by singing our Be Still song. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Let's hear the word of the Lord together. Today, in our Bibles, we are still in the book of Genesis. We're in the first book of the Bible. And we are still in chapter 1 like last week, and today we are talking about the pink words. Let's see what else I brought today. I brought the black again this week. And I wonder if you remember what the black is for. The black is like darkness. There's nothing in it. And today I like to think about the black being a clean slate. It's somewhere new, and everything can come out of it. But last week when we talked about it, we remembered that in the darkness, at the beginning of time, God was there. He was there. And last week we talked about the first 2 days of creation. And on day 1, God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God had named the light day and the dark night. And then on the second day, God had separated the waters. Remember, there were waters above and waters below, and he put a space between them. Put a space between the waters. And today we are on day 3. We're on day 3. And day 3, God gathered all the waters together. He told them to gather together, and up from the waters, as they gathered together, pieces of dry land formed. And God gave these gathered waters a name. Do you know what they're called? That's right. He named them the oceans. He gathered them together and had the ocean, and we had our dry land like we live on. And God saw all this, and he decided to fill all this dry land. And in it, he filled it with things like grass. He also filled it with trees. And what else do you think he filled it with? He filled it with bushes and flowers. And flowers of all different kinds. And my Bible said he also filled the trees and the plants by making them, they produced fruit and the flowers. And he said that all of these things would also have seeds in them. so that over time they could continue to grow more and more and more. And my Bible tells us that God looked at all these things and he said, it is good. And then there was evening and morning, the third day. On the fourth day, the next day, day 4, God looked around and he said, he noticed that we had our light and we had our dark for the day and the night, but he wanted to give him something special to rule over those times. And so God created the sun. And the sun was going to govern over the day and let us know when it was morning and time to be up and be out of our houses and moving around. And in the night, he made a smaller light. This light was the moon. And the moon and the stars, they governed over the nighttime. They help us know when it's time to sleep, when it's time to rest, and when the world gets quiet. And so on the fourth day, he filled the sky with lights. And God looked at all these things and he said, it was very good. And then there was evening and morning, the fourth day. I wonder, what would your heart feel if you got to see all of these things being created? I wonder, why is it important that the fruit and the trees and the flowers had seeds in them so they could grow new plants? I wonder what about today's story you want to remember. I think this story is so important and cool to see the power that God has and his creativity as he made our world. I want you to look outside your window today or go outside and look at all the things that God created. Maybe you can feel the grass with your toes, smell some flowers, climb a tree. Go outside and see what God created on day 3. Have y'all been practicing your memory verse? Are you ready to do it with me? Remember, it starts with, in the beginning, like we're pointing at our watch, God created the heavens and earth. Are you ready to say it together? First time, let's say it in our normal voice. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Nice job. This time, why don't we sing it? Why don't we sing it? Here we go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. That was a little bit of a funny song, but we did it. All right, one more time, let's say it together. And this time you choose. Maybe you want to say it in a loud voice or a whisper. I'm going to say mine in a whisper. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Nice job, friends. I love that you're learning to keep God's word in your heart. I can't wait to see you soon. Love God with your whole heart this week. Bye, friends.